Have you ever pondered why your relationships change as you grow older? The things that once seemed essential, maintaining a large circle of friends, attending social gatherings, and staying connected, might no longer hold the same significance. What if the key to happiness after 70 isn't about having more friends, but about embracing independence and living life on your own terms? Many people worry that growing older means loneliness. But here's the truth. Life after 70 can be more fulfilling, peaceful, and joyful when you let go of the pressure to maintain friendships that no longer serve you. This isn't about isolation. It's about freedom. It's about prioritizing yourself, your well-being, and your happiness. In this article, we'll explore 6 powerful reasons why friendships may no longer be as necessary in your later years. You'll discover why stepping into your independence can be the most liberating decision of your life. By the end, you may see your golden years in an entirely new light, one filled with purpose, peace, and true contentment. 1. You have nothing left to prove. You are enough. For much of life, we seek approval, whether from family, colleagues, or friends. In our younger years, friendships often carry an unspoken weight of expectations. We strive to fit in, to be admired, to maintain a sense of belonging. We attend gatherings even when we're exhausted, keep in touch with people out of obligation, and worry about how we are perceived. But by the time you reach 70, something profound happens. You realize that none of it truly defines you. You have lived long enough to know your worth is not measured by the number of friends you have or the invitations you receive. You are no longer in a phase of life where you need to prove yourself. You have nothing left to prove because you have already proven it. You have faced hardships and overcome them. You have experienced love, loss, success, and failure. You have carried responsibilities, nurtured relationships, and contributed to the world in ways both big and small. Every wrinkle, every memory, every lesson learned is evidence of a life well lived. Harold, a retired teacher, once thrived in social circles, always making an effort to maintain connections. But when he turned 72, he recognized a truth he had long ignored. Many of those relationships were transactional, rooted in obligation rather than genuine connection. He stopped chasing after people who had drifted away. He stopped worrying about whether he was included, and in doing so, he discovered something extraordinary: peace, the freedom to simply be himself without the need for validation. At this stage in life, you no longer need to impress, conform, or seek approval. You are enough, just as you are. And once you embrace that, you unlock a level of contentment that no friendship, no external validation could ever provide. 2. Inner peace becomes more valuable than socializing. There was a time when life felt like a constant stream of conversations, gatherings, and obligations. Socializing was once a source of excitement, a way to feel connected and engaged. But as the years pass, a quiet transformation takes place. The noise that once filled your days no longer feels necessary. The need to be surrounded by people fades, replaced by something far more valuable: inner peace. At 70, you begin to cherish the stillness. You wake up in the morning and savor the quiet, not longing for chatter, but appreciating the absence of it. You sit with your thoughts, not feeling lonely, but comforted by your own presence. There is no pressure to keep up, no obligation to participate in conversations that drain you more than they uplift you. You no longer feel the need to be constantly available, to answer every call, to say yes when your heart longs for solitude. Margaret, a 74-year-old woman who once thrived in a large social circle, spent years attending luncheons, returning calls, and keeping up with friends. But over time, she noticed how exhausting it all felt. The same conversations repeated, the same dramas resurfaced, the same sense of duty weighed on her. One day, she simply stopped. She allowed herself to say no. She chose walks in the park over crowded events, books over small talk, moments of reflection over mindless socializing. And what she discovered was life-changing. She felt lighter, freer, more at peace than she had in years. As you age, you realize that fulfillment doesn't come from constant social interaction, but from within. The most profound joy is found not in being surrounded by people, but in being at peace with yourself. 3. Fewer friendships. mean fewer disappointments. Friendships, no matter how cherished, come with expectations. In our younger years, we give generously, our time, our energy, our emotions, believing that deep connections will always be reciprocal. But as time passes, we learn a difficult truth. Not everyone stays. People drift away, priorities shift, and sometimes the friendships we invested in no longer serve us. At 70, you begin to realize that the fewer friendships you maintain, the fewer disappointments you endure. There was a time when being surrounded by people felt essential. You nurtured friendships, forgave thoughtlessness, and held on to connections, even when they no longer felt fulfilling. But how many times have you been the one to reach out, the one to make the effort, only to be met with silence? How often have you felt forgotten by those you once held dear? The disappointment of unreciprocated care, of one-sided friendships, can weigh heavily on the heart. But here's the liberating truth. You are not obligated to hold on to relationships that leave you feeling empty. William, at 78, spent decades maintaining friendships that slowly faded. He noticed that he was always the one making the phone calls, sending messages, and initiating plans. When he stopped, so did the friendships. At first he felt hurt, but then he had a realization. He was not losing friends, he was losing the illusion of them. What remained were only the relationships that truly mattered. Fewer friendships mean fewer unmet expectations, fewer moments of hurt, fewer instances of wondering why someone didn't call back. Instead of seeking to hold on to everyone, you begin to cherish the peace that comes with letting go. In the end, the friendships that are meant to last will remain, and those that disappear were never truly meant to stay. 4. Your time becomes more precious. Time has always been a constant, yet it is only in our later years that we truly understand its worth. In youth, it felt abundant. There was always another tomorrow, another gathering, another chance to reconnect. But after 70, time is no longer an endless resource. It is the most valuable thing you own. And with that realization comes a powerful shift. You become far more intentional about how you spend it. There was a time when you filled your calendar with obligations, attending events you didn't truly enjoy, engaging in conversations that felt repetitive, and keeping up with friendships that no longer brought you joy. But now you understand that every hour spent on something that drains you is an hour lost from something that fulfills you. You begin to ask yourself, is this how I want to spend my time? If the answer is no, you grant yourself the freedom to walk away. Richard, a retired businessman, once believed that staying socially active was essential. He made an effort to keep up with acquaintances, attending dinners and returning calls out of habit rather than desire. But one day, as he sat in yet another conversation filled with complaints and gossip, he asked himself, would I rather be here, or would I rather be doing something I love? From that moment, he stopped spending his time on anything that felt like an obligation. Instead, he devoted it to what truly brought him joy. Reading, exploring, learning new things, and simply savoring the quiet moments of life. At this stage, time is not something to be wasted on maintaining appearances or keeping up with social expectations. It is yours to use as you choose, and when you guard it wisely, you discover the extraordinary freedom of living life on your own terms. 5. True companionship comes from within. One of the most profound realizations that comes with age is that the truest, most enduring companionship you'll ever have is the one you cultivate with yourself. In youth, we are often taught that our happiness depends on others, that socializing, meeting new people, and building friendships are what give life meaning. But as you grow older, you come to understand that this belief, while well-intentioned, is incomplete. Happiness, fulfillment, and even connection begin with you. By the time you reach 70, you have experienced decades of life, each moment shaping who you are today. You've spent countless hours listening to others, understanding their stories, and offering them comfort. Now, perhaps for the first time, you have the opportunity to listen fully to yourself. You begin to find joy in the quiet moments. A solitary walk, a morning spent with a book, or an afternoon reflecting on memories. These become your companions. They provide a deeper sense of contentment than any crowded room or superficial conversation ever could. Eleanor, at 76, once felt that a bustling social life was essential to feeling alive. She filled her days with phone calls and outings, rarely leaving a moment unoccupied. Yet despite her efforts, she often felt drained, as if something was missing. When she finally allowed herself to step back, to embrace solitude rather than fear it, she discovered something remarkable. She wasn't lonely at all. She had everything she needed within herself. True companionship is not about how many people are in your life. It's about how deeply you connect with yourself. When you are at peace with who you are, you find a sense of wholeness that no external relationship can provide. This inner harmony is the foundation of a rich, fulfilling life. 6. Letting go opens the door to a more fulfilling life. One of the most liberating decisions you can make is to release the weight of friendships that no longer serve you. As we age, we often hold on to relationships out of habit, comfort, or a belief that they define our worth. Yet when these connections start to feel more like obligations than sources of joy, they become barriers to the life you truly want to lead. Letting go is not about severing ties recklessly, it's about making room for the things that truly matter. At 70, you have a unique opportunity to prioritize yourself. The relationships that once seemed indispensable may now feel heavy with unspoken expectations. Calls that must be returned, visits that feel routine rather than heartfelt, and conversations that leave you drained rather than uplifted, these can all hold you back from the peace and freedom you deserve. Letting go doesn't mean isolation. It means choosing quality over quantity. It means valuing the time and energy you invest in others and ensuring that those efforts align with your deepest desires. James, a man in his late 70s, once kept an extensive social calendar. He believed that staying busy with friends would keep him happy and fulfilled. But over time, he found himself feeling tired, even empty. The constant maintenance of shallow connections became a burden. When he finally allowed himself to step back, to gracefully decline invitations that didn't spark joy, he found something incredible: more space for what truly mattered. He spent more time with his close family, delved into hobbies he loved, and enjoyed peaceful mornings where he could reflect and recharge. Letting go isn't about losing, it's about gaining. It's about making room for joy, for meaning, and for a life that feels lighter, freer, and more fulfilling than ever before. A new kind of fulfillment. As we reach the later years of life, the path forward begins to look different. The markers we once relied on, social obligations, expansive networks, the need to be constantly connected, start to lose their importance. Instead, we're presented with a unique opportunity to shape the life we truly want, free from the expectations that once defined us. This moment is not about loneliness or loss. It's about discovering a deeper, more meaningful kind of fulfillment. Letting go of certain relationships isn't a matter of turning away from people, but of turning toward ourselves. It's about creating the space to rediscover our own values, interests, and passions. We find that the time once spent maintaining a wide circle of acquaintances can now be invested in what genuinely nourishes us, whether that's exploring new hobbies, delving into long-lost interests, or simply savoring the peaceful moments that come when we no longer feel pulled in too many directions. For many, this shift can feel like a breath of fresh air. Imagine waking up each day not with a list of social obligations, but with the freedom to choose how to spend your time. Instead of filling your hours with conversations that leave you drained, you can focus on the experiences and connections that bring real joy. Whether it's the quiet pleasure of a morning walk, the satisfaction of learning something new, or the comfort of reflecting on a life well lived, you're no longer bound by the pressure to maintain friendships out of habit or duty. This is not about withdrawing from life. On the contrary, it's about stepping into a new chapter, one where you define what happiness looks like. It's a chance to live more intentionally, to cherish the moments that matter most, and to find peace in simplicity. As you let go of the friendships that no longer serve you, you'll discover that you are not losing anything. Instead, you're making room for the kind of fulfillment that comes only from truly embracing who you are and what you value. So as you stand at this crossroads, take comfort in knowing that you're not alone in this journey. Many have walked this path before you and found it rich with opportunity. What awaits you is a life not just lived, but fully appreciated, one where each moment feels meaningful and every day is truly your own. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.